There's a wonderful nonprofit agency called All America Selections. And what they do is they have a group of volunteers, and every year they trial different seeds for different plants. For many years it was just flowers. But as soon as I heard that they were doing vegetables, I contacted them immediately. Not to be a trial gardener, they have those, but they were looking for people that blog or videotape or in other ways would be willing to share their experiences with their All-America selection winners for any given year. So I'd like to share my favorites with you today. Snack Hero peas. I grew these actually here at work this year. In fact, I just took them out of the garden yesterday. They had really stood up to a hotter spring and summer than we have seen in many years. They were prolific. They were so tasty right off the vine in the garden. We grew them with a tomato cage to contain them a little bit. Where I work, there are individuals that come here that have intellectual disability diagnoses, and many of them were just so excited to be able to eat the peas right out of the garden. They actually look like green beans when they're growing, so I put up a sign to let everybody know that they were peas and they could just eat them right out of the garden. They were disappointed I had to take them out, but I can plant them again between the beginning of August, middle of August, here in Zone 6, and we'll get another supply. So we're looking forward to that. Chocolate begonia. I am not much of a houseplant person. I I did when I had a house with a good bay window that faced south, but the house I live in now that I love does not get a lot of sunlight for houseplants. So, and I'd never started a houseplant from seed. It was very exciting. I still have it. I haven't killed it yet. It's come close a couple times. It's absolutely gorgeous. And you can see by the picture that All America Selections provides. It is just absolutely gorgeous. So if you're into houseplants, and I would highly recommend the chocolate begonia. The begonia was incredibly easy to start from seed. I put 3 seeds in a pot and I got 3 plants. So actually I kept one and I shared 2 with my daughter. Clancy potatoes. I couldn't believe it when I got these seeds. I had no idea there was such a thing, and I think these are the only ones where you can actually start potatoes from a seed. I guess they have to come from somewhere, but we always start our potatoes from potatoes. We started the potatoes from seed. You can see from the picture, you get little red potatoes. I did keep some, and the next year they got a little bit bigger. You know, I replanted them because you can replant your potatoes every year. I'll link that video on how to do that below. But yeah, I think it's just awesome that I could have seeds for potatoes in my seed supply, and heaven forbid something happened, I would still have a place to go to get potatoes. And who doesn't like what they call new potatoes or little round potatoes? They're perfect. I grew 2 tomatoes in the Chef's Choice series, the green and the orange. I think I would say I'd like the orange a little bit better. To me, it was a little bit sweeter. What I really liked, though, was the colors. I mean, they're both very good tomatoes. They were very prolific. They produce beautiful tomatoes. And I actually went to an event where I was able to make a tomato and fresh mozzarella platter with, of course, basil leaves. But to have slices of different colors of tomatoes, it looked absolutely gorgeous. And the green tomatoes caught everybody's eye, like, why are you giving us green tomatoes? And it's like, no, no, they're ripe tomatoes. They turn green when they ripen. Wouldn't it be wonderful to have like a green tomato or an orange tomato to make a pizza sauce out of? I could just think of all the interesting toppings you could put on that and make some kind of an artisan pizza. We grew a cabbage called Katrina, and it was delightful. It's a small cabbage, We grew it in ground, but you could certainly grow it in a container. One cabbage was perfect for us for a couple of meals for the two of us. We did actually make sauerkraut out of them as they came in. We were able to keep adding them to the sauerkraut. It matures very quickly, and if you just cut off the cabbage head and leave the rest of the plant in the ground, you'll get little cabbages coming up. So those are like little bonuses. We have a big strawberry bed, and I started by buying crowns, and the main thing with crowns, as a side note, is to not let the crowns go below the soil or the plant will die. Keep it above the soil. But then it reproduces by runners, and we let them either stay where they are or cut them off and transplant them as if we bought the crown. But I didn't know you could grow strawberries from seeds. Strawberries are a rare plant in that they do actually grow both from seed and from producing babies from runners. So they have the DeLiz seeds. We started them, up they came, and here we were growing strawberries from seed. Now, I couldn't tell you which in my garden is DeLiz from the others. They look the same to me, but they were, at the time, we were able to tell, sweet, beautiful, and fun, and a lot less expensive to buy seeds than to buy the crowns. So give it a shot, you know. My favorite flower is Xenia Cinnias. There are a number of zinnias that are all-American selections, but the double deep salmon was just absolutely gorgeous. I absolutely loved it. I believe zinnias are edible. It's cool to make ice cubes out of them, no pun intended, but it's fun. You know, if you have some people over and give them a drink with some flowers in their ice cubes, it's kind of fun. The double deep zinnia by far is one of the prettiest flowers, in my opinion, as a zinnia lover, that I ever grew in the garden. Mountain Rouge tomato. If it was up to my husband, this would be the only tomato he grows. His first year, really as a gardener, for years he would walk right past the garden, go to the grocery store, buy tomatoes, and walk right back into the house, and there was tomatoes hanging there on the vine. So he was really not much into the garden, even though he is a cook and a food service person. But now he's been retired. Our first summer, I had started 75 tomato plants. I was going to sell them, give them away, whatever, and maybe grow 24 or so. And he said, let's plant them all. And I'll put a link to that blog post below. He had no idea what he was getting himself into. It was after that I got the seeds for the Mountain Rouge. I started them. We had grow 20 tomatoes in our front garden, 20 to 24. And he grew all Mountain Rouge, and he said they were the best tasting tomato we ever had. He doesn't really want to grow anything else. They were uniform in size. They were very prolific. The tomatoes were a very nice size, perfect for slicing, but also meaty enough for canning. So this year we do have some other kinds because I like to try different tomatoes, but we absolutely have Mountain Rouge. I've never been disappointed with anything I've grown that was in All America selections. They really know what they're doing. When they trial their vegetables and flowers, they really know how to pick the best. So give it a shot. Try them out. They don't sell the seeds themselves, but they'll tell you where you can find them. So thanks again for watching. Please do the thumbs up thing. If you haven't subscribed, we would appreciate it. And comment, share, have you ever grown in All America selections? Seed, vegetable, or flower, or fruit? If you have, let us know. Tell us what you think. We would love to hear from you, and maybe it'll be something that we haven't tried and we would be willing to. Thank you. Bye. Have a good one. Happy gardening.